Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Got in another flashlight to take a look at. This is a brand new release from Olight. The model is the ArkPro Lite. This is going to be a very compact, flat style flashlight. It's going to have a UV emitter, a white emitter, and a red emitter. So this should make for a really good EDC light. So stick around if you want to learn about it. We'll do a real quick unboxing. Go over all the features and specifications. We'll go over the user interface. I'll give you guys some beam shots and then give some thoughts on it. So there's not a ton of information on the box. Looks like we do have a lifetime warranty on it. Looks like there is a QR code that you can scan. So let's get everything out. I know you're supposed to pull across here, but I don't like destroying my boxes, so we go from the bottom here. So it looks like we're presented with the light right up on top. Let's see what else we get in here. Let's see what that is in a minute. Looks like we're going to have an MCC charging cable. So this is going to be magnetic charging, and that is the MCC 1 amp. We'll see what we have here. Looks like a manual. Quickly show you the manual just in case there are things that I leave out of this video, or in case you buy it and lose your manual. You can always come back to this video for reference. Alright, let's take a look at this ArkPro Lite. I'll just kind of show you guys around things first. Kind of do a real quick glance over everything. Looks like we're supposed to charge it before we start using it. This is going to also have a USB-C charging port here. So you do not have to use the magnetic charging if you don't want. Going to have a really deep carry pocket clip, which is also two-way. And I do like this matte black finish. A little bit of texturing on the sides. That's actually very grippy. We're going to have kind of like a rotary switch or dial right here. Very positive engagement. You know when you're stopping at the next thing. Here on the business end, you can see all the different emitters. Alright, let's quickly grab some dimensions and a weight. We're looking at 4.4 inches in length, 1 inch in width, and 0.67 in depth. And here it is next to a dollar bill. And weight of the ArkPro Lite, 3.6, 3.7 ounces. So this ArkPro Lite is CNC machined out of a single piece of aluminum. It does have some type of anodization on it to prevent scratches and stuff like that. It is IPX7 waterproof rated. This does have an internal 3.7 volt battery. It's 1350 milliamp hours. And speaking of the battery, let's go ahead and get this charged up. If this were completely dead, it's going to take about 2.5 hours to use the MCC cable, but let's just see if we get any indicators. Okay, so we got an indicator right there that it's charging. That will turn green once it's fully charged. I also want to check the USB-C though, make sure that that's going to work charging it that way as well. See if we get any indicators if we're using that type of cable. A USB-C, yeah, it's indicator there, it just was. That will take an hour and a half if this were fully depleted. So this charges faster. Somebody will probably ask me, can you use a USB-C and the MCC at the same time and charge it faster? I've looked through the manual, and honestly there isn't anything about charging at all I probably would not recommend that. It's not safe for a battery to charge it up too fast, so I would use either or. Alright, we are fully charged up, so I'll get into showing you how to use this light. When I turn it on, you're going to see some green lights that are kind of hidden that's going to come up this way. That's actually our battery status. And then there's going to be some white lights that come up this way, and that'll be the level of light that we're on. This light is going to be very simple to use. Again, I showed this selector here. So if you want the white light, you just go there. Over here, if you want the red light, you switch to that. And if you want the UV, you just switch over to that. If you're familiar at all with Olight, most of their user interfaces are the same. A single press is going to turn your light on, and then you're going to hold and press to go through the different output levels. We're going to have 5 different outputs. We're going to have a moonlight, a low, medium, high, a turbo, and then there's also going to be a strobe feature. So I'm going to turn it on again just by pressing that center button just to show you guys our battery status is on this side and the light output level was on that side. Right now we're actually in the low. I'm going to shut it back off. Shut it off because I want to show you how to get to moonlight first, which is 1 lumen. Light has to be off, and then you press and hold, and that'll get you into that 1 lumen moonlight mode. That will actually run for like 10 days straight. And then if you want to go through the next outputs, you just press and hold. So that's our low, that's 15 lumens, run for 54 hours. Next up is medium. That's 60 lumens for 16 hours. Next we'd have high, 350 lumens. And then our final is turbo, and you have to double tap to get turbo. And that's 1200 lumens. And finally, we are going to have strobe. So if you're sensitive to flashing lights, you can look away for the next minute. But you can get to that from off or on, and you can actually get to turbo from off or on as well. But it's just going to be a triple click. So the light does have mode memory. It's like right now I'm in the high setting. If I shut it off and I wait a minute or a day or a week or whatever, I turn it back on, I'm going to be in that same setting. However, it does not have a mode memory for the turbo. So you got to click into it each time you want it. And when you go out of it, it doesn't go back to your last used output. If you're on turbo, it'll go back to the low, but it at least does stay on. But you can see now I'm on the low and I was in high when I went to turbo. And that same thing is true for strobe. It'll go back to a low level. All right, let's switch over to the UV light next. The operation is basically going to be exactly the same. You're going to press to turn it on. You're going to hold to go through the different brightness. There are 2 different brightnesses with this one. The UV light itself is a 365 nanometer for the wavelength. And then the lowest setting here, it's 360 milliwatts. And the higher setting is 1000 milliwatts. The purpose of this little card is there's actually a hidden message on it. I'll go up to the high setting. Lots of uses for UV light as far as like pet stains, like urine stains, blood stains. You can also check money with it to make sure that it's not fake. But you're just going to turn that on and you can see the line right there on that. Let you know that we're legit. All right, and finally we're going to have the red mode. So we're just going to flip that over there. Same thing, a single press turns it on. We're in the lower setting right now, which is around 5 lumens. And then if we press and hold, that's going to take us up to the high setting, which is 40 lumens. There also is an SOS with the red, and you triple press the center button. And that takes you into your SOS mode. So obviously that's good for signaling. Just the red light in general though is really good for night vision. It really helps preserve it. And one other thing to let you know about, let's say that we're on with the red. You can just flip this. If you want white light, you can just flip it over to that. You don't have to like shut it off or anything to go between the different ones. Show you guys what this is going to look like down in a pocket. Like I said, pretty much full concealment. It is really deep carry. So while this is in your pocket, I think it's almost impossible to accidentally turn that on just because the button is like recessed down in there. But Olight did put a lockout on this light, and you get to it just by pressing the center button for a couple of seconds. And now you can see a little lock just appeared there. And now the light won't do anything at all. And if you want to get out of it, you just press for about a second, and then it turns back on. And then if you need to go hands-free, that dual direction pocket clip allows you to put it on the brim of a hat. Pretty securely fit on there. And because of that magnetic charging base, we should be magnetic there. Supports itself sideways, vertically. Alright, let's see what this ArkPro light looks like in the dark. I'm going to start off in that Eco first. Camera might have a hard time picking that up because it is only 1 lumen. Plenty enough for reading a map, finding your way in a tent, something like that. But let's go up to the low here next. And this is definitely going to be a floodlight. So let's go up to the medium here. That low is 15 lumens. This is 60. Again, not really a hot spot at all anywhere over there. That is our high. 350, that really lights up the room well. And then let's go up to the turbo. Again, 1200 lumens. And I will do strobe. If you are sensitive, you can look away. Try to show you that battery indicator and then also the lumen output level here so you can see that a little bit better. Alright, I'm going to switch over to the red. Again, the camera usually has a hard time picking that up. This is the lowest setting on the red. And then let's go to the higher setting. Yeah, I mean, that really lights the room up pretty well. And finally, let's do the UV light one more time. Again, show you that bill. This is the lowest setting of the UV light. We'll go to the high. Alright, I'm outside with the Olight here now. There's a row of trees that's about 80 feet away from where I'm standing right now. The next door neighbors do have a light on, which is kind of casting over this way. So it does kind of affect the light output a little bit. But we'll still see what this looks like. I'm going to start off in that Eco first. Camera's probably going to have a hard time seeing that, so I'll show it on the driveway. I can probably make that out to about 30 feet or so. Let's go up to the low. Low, I can just faintly see the trees that are across the street over here. Again, about 80 feet away. Let's go to the medium. Camera should be able to pick those up now. Kind of see one right there. See some over there. Let's go to the high. Here we go. There's a decent amount of throw with this too. I mean, again, it's an EDC light, but definitely a wall of light. Again, that's only 350 lumens, and that's still pretty decent. Let's go up to the turbo. Again, for something this small, compact, flat, there's actually a tree that's way back there that's about 100 yards away from where I'm standing. I think you can see it right in between those two trees. So this will reach out there. And I don't know how well we'll pick up the red out here, but we'll try it next. And there we are in the driveway. And let's try to go up to the high. And there I have the red and the SOS. Kind of stuck on the back of the car if you needed a signal for help or something. And finally I got it stuck to the underside of the hood. You can see how beneficial that would be if you needed to work on your engine in the dark. Well, hopefully those nighttime shots were somewhat beneficial for you. And now I'm asking myself, is this the perfect EDC flashlight? I have about 10 of these flat style flashlights, and this Olight is definitely my favorite right now. This thing is built like a tank. Having that one piece design is going to make this thing very rugged and durable. I really like the appearance of it. You know, I think it's modern, sleek, elegant. It just looks awesome. This is very compact and lightweight. If you carry a pocket knife, it'll balance out the other pocket about the exact same. I like that it's so easy to use. I mean, literally it's just one press to turn it on, one press to turn it off. It's easy to switch between the different modes. That selector switch is really nice. And for being such a small light, having 1200 lumens of that max output is really impressive. And I've tested it multiple times, and it will maintain that for really like 4 to 5 minutes at least. And then it's just like a little gradual step down. But the thing really never gets hot. You can hold it just like this the whole time that you're using it on that turbo. I like that it shows you your battery indicator and your output status. Every single time that you turn it on, you know exactly where you are. I really like this deep carry pocket clip. Being a flat style light, this thing just carries so well in the pocket. There are some competitors, some other brands that they put their clip like here and almost half the light sticks up. But this Olight, man, it carries well. And finally, I really like that they did 2 ways of charging this, so you're not stuck with just the magnetic charger anymore. And even this door here is aluminum, I believe. It definitely feels like it's some kind of metal, and it's like on a hinge. So that's really nice. And another thing, because it does have that magnetic charging, this will stick to any metal surface, and that can be so handy. I gotta say, I really do like this light a lot, so I don't have many complaints on it. One thing I will say is it does have an internal battery. It's not meant to be replaced or serviced or anything. I've looked over the warranty multiple times, and it's a lifetime warranty, and it doesn't say anything in here about, like, it's a lifetime warranty on the light, but the battery is only 3 years. I don't see anything. I looked all over the box, and I don't see anything. So it's possible that the battery has a lifetime warranty as well. But I don't know that for certain, and maybe if you scan one of these or something, maybe it takes you somewhere that does say something different, but I don't see it anywhere that I'm looking. Alright, so here's going to be my only complaint with this light, and it is very nitpicky. But when you turn on the Eco, it's going to show your output level at 1. But when you turn on the low, it also shows you at 1. So I'll show you here. There's the Eco. And now I'm going to bump up. And there's the low. And they both show 1 status down there. So I don't know. I mean, I almost wish that they didn't show any light at all when you went on eco, because I know what they do here. They want to try to keep 4 lights here because there's 4 battery lights here. So if we went low, medium, high, you can see how they're like kind of matching up there. And then if we went to the turbo, it would give us our 4th, and our battery would be at 4. But I don't know, it's just weird how they both show the same thing. But again, that's a very, very nitpicky, just me noticing that. Nothing wrong with the light. I absolutely love this light. But as much as I love it, I do wish that they would make a version without the UV. Personally, I don't really use that. And I would like to have this light but be a spotlight, floodlight, and then the red light. I think that would be just about perfect. This model obviously doesn't have the laser on it, but I don't use a laser really for anything for EDC purposes. But yeah, fantastic light. So I started making this video in the middle of September, and we're now basically at the end of September, and I'm not 100% sure of the availability of these. On the website, it says it's been delayed. So I'll probably wait until these actually get released before I put this video out. It does show that they're going to be around $80 or so when they're released. And I think that's a really fantastic price and would definitely recommend this light. But alright guys, if you found the video helpful or informative in any way, please hit the like button or leave a comment. If you have any questions, leave them down below. And that's going to be it on this one. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it.